Hello, everybody. Jack Murphy, courtside for the VisitMyrtleBeach.com pregame show. Coming up at halftime, we're going to sit down and chew the fat with the executive director, John Rhodes. We'll talk about how the tournament has progressed so far this year and what we have in store for upcoming years. Unbelievable. 39 great years of the tournament. We couldn't do it without having an audience. So for those of you that are watching us online and around the country on television, thank you so much for watching. We've got some exciting basketball. Good stuff tonight, real good stuff again tomorrow as we continue with our first round action. It is exciting. Now, I'll tell you a little heads up about what happens with these teams. We take a little breather because of the way the dates fall in the tournament. So Sunday, we got the big three-point contest, three-point shot, and the dunk contest, which will be televised. But that's a day typically where a lot of the players and their families come into town, and we get to show them what makes us so special. So we'll be going to, like, the Grand Prix and out on the beach for a walk, and might even do some miniature golf, because we talk about, like, our really big, all the golf courses that we have, but I think per capita we may lead the nation in miniature golf holes. So a lot for the teams to do, and that's what is really selling this tournament and making it grow year after year after year and getting bigger, especially on the girls' side of the tournament with our Crestcom Bank Holiday Invitational that happens before Christmas, which has just exploded. So much to do, because when you're having a kid out there playing sports, you go to an area where there's these tournaments, and then what happens? You're there, and you go to the games and then back to the hotel rooms. But when you come to Myrtle Beach, we know how to do sports tourism. We do it upright. There's so much to do for grandma and the aunts and the uncles, extended family, plenty of hotel rooms, and a great time of the year to come visit us. Today we had temperatures in the 70s, so you might be somewhere where it might be a little warmer, but chances are in this time of the year it's a lot colder. You can find out about our weather and all the great things that we have to eat, dine, incredible five-star restaurants. Find it all at visitmyrtlebeach.com. Like I said, at halftime, we'll talk with the executive director, John Rhodes, about the tournament thus far and what's coming up the rest of the weekend. Jack Murphy courtside for visitmyrtlebeach.com. We'll be back with more great basketball from Myrtle Beach in a bit.
There's an amazing place where family vacation memories are made and shared over and over again, where new experiences never disappoint, and where the only thing better than visiting is coming back again. Book your family vacation at visitmyrtlebeach.com and discover amazing values on area accommodations and family-friendly attractions. There's never been a better time to visit Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where family time has never been so much fun.
Welcome back to the Lambeau Arena at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. I'm Alan Smothers, and very pleased to be announcing courtside with the head coach of the Spartanburg Methodist Junior College ladies basketball team, who came and joined us last year for some women's games and the Beach Ball Classic. Things worked out so well, we invited Heather Macy back.
I just can't get enough of it. I'm glad to be back, you know.
I love that you're back, and Heather is a basketball junkie. Let me just be honest about that right up front. She and I both have coached for a number of years. She actually was head coach at East Carolina University for a decade. So she knows this round ball quite a bit. Let's talk about these two teams we're about to see. Coronado from Las Vegas, Nevada. Actually, Henderson, Nevada, just outside of the city. And, of course, the host team, the Socastee Braves, where I coached with Dan D'Antoni for nearly 20 years. Of course, Coach D'Antoni created this tournament in 1981 and is now the head coach at Marshall University. I still get a chance to go up and see Coach D'Antoni quite often, and but Socastee going in a different direction than Coronado. Even though the records are similar, Coronado is 4-3, Socastee is 2-9, but 4-3 very deceiving.
Well, you're talking about a national schedule. I mean, so these guys coming in right now left this morning at 1 a.m. to come and play this tournament. And, you know, a coach mentioned to me, like, are you kidding me to be invited to a tournament of this stature? Then we're getting on a plane at 1 a.m. and we're going to be there. We're playing anyone, anytime, anywhere. Yeah,
Coach Kaufman has been tremendous. Jeff Kaufman, he is in his 11th season as head coach. He's been at Coronado for 13 years. But you're right, they left Las Vegas at 1 a.m. this morning, arrived here at about 11 a.m. By the time they got to the hotel, it was 1 p.m., so they've been resting most of the afternoon to get ready for tonight's game. They're the fourth team from Nevada that have joined us here in Myrtle Beach. Normally we see their rival, Bishop Gorman. We're going to talk about Grant Rice's team a little bit tonight as well. Also, Galena from Reno, Nevada has been here before. And just a couple of years ago, we had Clark County High School. So this will be a new venture into the state of Nevada. We'll take time out. We'll come back, give you the starting lineups, and get ready for the final first-round game of Day 1 at the 39th Annual Beach Ball Classic from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
My family keeps me on the go. And as fellow community members, HTC believes friends and neighbors deserve services that keep the day running smoothly. No matter where life takes me, HTC keeps me connected by providing world-class technology to Horry and Georgetown counties. Because you are here, and so are we.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
There's an amazing place where family vacation memories are made and shared over and over again, where new experiences never disappoint, and where the only thing better than visiting is coming back again. Book your family vacation at visitmyrtlebeach.com and discover amazing values on area accommodations and family-friendly attractions. There's never been a better time to visit Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where family time has never been so much fun.
Back inside the Myrtle Beach Convention Center, Alan Smothers, Heather Macy with you as the final game of the first day of action is getting ready to get underway. Now, we'll have a couple of consolation bracket games starting around noon tomorrow, but we will be back on the air for more first-round games in Bracket 2 at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon on Stadium, WatchStadium.com, HTCConnect.com, or the Beach Ball Classic. You can tell your friends and family to watch these games anywhere in the world on the internet at WatchStadium.com or beachballclassic.com. The Socastee Braves are the host team. They're in white tonight. Derek Hilton is the head coach in his 4th year. He is 38-46 as the head coach, but he is very, very familiar with Socastee High School because he played at Socastee and was an assistant for Tommy Johnson for 9 years before taking over as the head coach. And when in his playing days, Heather, we played for a state championship. Lost on a shot at the buzzer.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know that I knew that. I knew he was a great player, and you know, to play for you and Coach D'Antoni must be a great guy.
Well, he played for Coach D'Antoni. I don't want to say he played for me. I always say us. I was along for the ride. I made sure the bus was clean, the locker rooms were in order, and
which is a vital role. Really, I mean,
that's what Coach D'Antoni said. Everybody's got
a
role.
Understand it, but it is a huge element. So he could stay focused and execute and do the things that a head coach should do. But you know, I'm sitting watching him warm up, and you know that he's growing and building that program, and it just takes some time to do that. And a lot of times it takes a lot of luck.
Well, Socastee 2-9 on the year, coming in off a loss to Georgetown from South Carolina. Georgetown's just down the road here on the Grand Strand, 65-60. Coronado comes in with a 4-3 record. They defeated Marion, Georgia in the Tarkanian Classic at UNLV last week, 90-75. Coach Kaufman comes in with a 184-53 record. He's won more than 66% of his games, and every year it seems it comes down to Bishop Gorman and Coronado to get out of the city to go to the state 4A championship.
Yes, both powerhouse programs and such competitors. I'm sitting here watching them get going, and I'm thinking, holy cow, you know, they're a Nike-sponsored school.
Yes.
That, you know, they do stuff just a classy way. And you can see that he's running a good program just by the way that they approach the game and warm-ups and, you know, even their huddles. I watch those kinds of things to know what it takes to build a national brand.
Coronado in the dark blue tonight, red numerals and white trim. Socastee in the home white with the black numerals and gold trim. And both you and I talked to Coach Kaufman separately this afternoon, and what a great guy. I had a lot of fun telling stories and listening to their travels. He said, we haven't played a game at home yet this year. The only game we played in the city was at the Tark last week.
Well, that's how you know what kind of program. When you're playing that national schedule and you're in airplanes, one, it takes a lot of maturity to take high school kids in planes and move them around and expect them to come out and play well. So I would imagine that right now, if you're Coach Hilton, you're going, hey, let's jump on them early. Maybe their legs aren't right underneath them, right? Give them the first shot anyway.
Well, that's what Coach Kaufman said. Take it easy on us early. I'm sure Coach Hilton feels sorry for him.
Well, and you know, Coach Kaufman even mentioned not coming over, having shot around, or even seeing the facility, this being their first trip here.
First possession by the Braves is
my.
intercepted, and a fast break opportunity is thwarted by Socastee. Starters for Coronado. Jackson Kohler. He's a sophomore and one of the top 60 in his class in America. Dallas Ryder. He's J.R. Ryder's nephew, as Socastee puts the first 2 points of the ball game on the board. Felix Reeves and Tyrell Fat Daddy Hunt, the best nickname in the tournament without question. But let's not forget Jaden Hardy. He is the number 5 junior in the class, and from ESPN and our friend Van Coleman, who lives in Henderson, Nevada, and runs the basketball channel, who will be doing the championship game of this tournament with me next Tuesday night, says that Hardy is the best point guard in the country.
Well,
in the junior class.
Kentucky's already offered, right? And so we already know we've got an explosive guard, but look at the length of this team. I mean, they are taking up the majority of the court. So obviously they executed well there offensively, but what they're going to do defensively, it's just going to be, shots are going to be really, really hard to come by.
Socastee starters are Mikey Herron, Preston Smith, and Cameron Spain in the backcourt. And Spain actually is a 6'7" football and basketball player, as Socastee drains one from the left corner. That's Mikey Herron. And the front court is Ezra Lawson and DJ Willard, as Cameron Spain is that stretch 4. He averages 10 points and 7 rebounds a ball game.
Well, they're going to sit in this 2-3 zone, right? Because the size matchup is just a killer. And then threaten them to shoot it.
Jaden Hardy.
The problem is they shoot it really, really well.
Yeah, you don't want to dare Hardy from distance, and he raises up for that one with relative ease.
Yes, it looked really easy when it left his hand. But that's what it looks like when you're an elite player in the country. It's going to look easy.
Nice high ball screen by DJ Willard, freed Mikey Herron to get all the way to the cup.
I really like the way the Soccetees come out. They're playing aggressive. They don't look like they're backing down at all, and I think that's what you've got to do against a team like this.
They're going straight to the basket. Nice screens at the head of the key and on the wings. He dribbles past Jaden Hardy all the way to the bucket, and they fight for it underneath, and a steal. Socastee being very aggressive early on.
And they're young guys. You know, that whenever I'm coaching a really young team, it's wonderful because they don't know any better. So they don't probably understand that they're going against the national powerhouse right now. All they're going is this is home for us, and this tournament got started at Socastee High School.
Yes, it did. Back in 1981, the very first tournament was played at Coastal Carolina University's Kimball Arena because Socastee's gym had burned down. But the very next year it moved to Socastee, and in 1994 it moved here to the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. Socastee into the paint, shot is blocked off of a Brave, I believe. Going to go out of bounds, belongs to the Cougars. Coronado coming in 4-3, the Braves 2-9, but both teams starting fast here on the offensive side.
Well, you know, this is a tournament that everybody takes great pride in being able to play in. One of the best in the country, and everyone wants to have a great showing here. It's the national notoriety, and everybody who's anybody's here and paying attention this weekend.
Jackson Kohler, he is the big guy, sophomore, 6'9", lost the ball in the lane, and Socastee wasting no time pushing it right back at the Cougars. Braves into the paint, and we've got a blocking foul, I believe. No, official Chris Martin, big sexy, calls the foul against the Braves on the offensive end. His partners are Joey Kerr and Dan Poe.
You know, the key here to keep the score where you want it to be, I think you've got to value the basketball. The more that Socastee turns that ball over, the faster the game is going to go. You know, tempo being the number one factor in a basketball game, they've got to make sure that they're valuing the ball. And, you know, they're having them pass it around. Way too many passes there on offense.
That was the third turnover by the Braves, and at the other end, they match it with a charge of their own. That's a tough one against Jaden Hardy. Off the ball is called for an offensive foul.
You know, I thought he did a great job there just getting position. But, you know, Coronado's just passing around the perimeter, not really getting it inside, not driving it. They'll make that adjustment, I'm sure, pretty quickly.
Across the timeline, left-hand quarter court. Ezra Lawson gets it into paint. Shot put up, no good by DJ Willard. And Coronado pushes tempo. Dallas Ryder off to his point man in the paint. And he's raked across the arms again. That does tend to slow talented point guards down when they got hands everywhere,
right?
That's right.
That's right. You know, one of the things besides not turning the ball over is not taking bad shots. I'm not sure that wasn't the shot that Coach Hilton wants. And, you know, the big thing he wants out of this 2-3 zone is that they're going to rotate correctly. And so far, so good. I mean, I think this young team's done a nice job rotating out from the zone.
Beautiful no-look post entry to Jackson Kohler. And now you see the playmaking ability of Jaden Hardy. Coach Kaufman told me that Hardy averages over 8 assists a game, and most of those go to Fat Daddy Hunt. But we haven't seen him put up a shot yet. There he is in the left corner. Bingo! Actually, that was Maxwell Howard, the 6'3 senior, coming in off the bench to nail one from the left corner. I want to see Tyrell Hunt get some shots up. He transferred in to Coronado from Chicago Curry High School. 3 on the way, bingo! Rattles home for Mikey Herron, and he is the top scorer for the Braves here in the first half with 8 points.
So all 5 of Coronado's starters have been offered scholarships. And so when you're talking about going up against those guys, experience, they've played in a lot of games, I love the way Socastee's competing against them.
Coronado gets a loose ball and makes the Braves pay. A little hanging fire, and now the Cougars are pressing full court, and it causes the turnover. But a missed shot by Hardy underneath. He tracks it down on the open floor, rises for a three. He got fouled and no whistle, but he drains it anyway.
That's good timeout here, I think, with Stock City. They've got to regroup and make sure the game's not playing too fast.
Timeout on the floor, and we've got a timeout ourselves. Coronado on a 6-0 run to take a 17-10 lead here at the Beach Ball Classic in Myrtle Beach on Stadium. Back with 10:26 to play in the first half. If you've been watching this afternoon and throughout the past few Beach Ball Classics, you realize we play 16-minute halves rather than 8-minute quarters. Tends to make the action go a little faster, as Coronado much more efficient on the offensive end. 7 of 11 shots, 64%. The Braves just 4 of 9, 45%.
What's your opinion, Alan? Do you like the halves versus the quarters, and what about the shot clock?
I don't prefer the shot clock in high school. I do in college, but I can go, 6 of one, half dozen of the other on the quarters. I think eventually the men's college game is going to go to quarters like the women's college game has, and you, of course, have experienced that. What do you like?
I really like the quarters, but my favorite new rule is the timeout in the final minute. You can advance,
yes,
like you see in professional basketball.
I do too. I like that advancement in the final minute. As Coronado extends their lead, they've scored 9 straight now, 19-10. Braves trying to stay in it in the first half. Short corner. Ball is ticked away, and it's picked up by Howard. Lead pass off to Hardy. He's fouled. He drains it. And a 10-point run, actually an 11-point run, can make it 12, and Hardy has come to play. That'll be his 8th point. He leads all scorers with Heron from Socastee. And everything Jaden Hardy is doing looks effortless.
One of my least favorite plays in basketball is that three-point play. I mean, I think I coach it, that we're going to foul or we're not going to foul, but we're not going to give up 3 in that situation.
Right.
I think that's tough, especially when you're the underdog. You can't afford that foul, especially.
Yeah, fouled a three-point shooter on the wing, and he was off balance.
Well, that shot wasn't going in. Why foul him, right? He was off balance. He's leaning forward. Now he's going to go to the line and shoot, 3 free throws.
Yeah, that'll put Mikey Heron at the line. He can take back the scoring lead. 9:25 to play. Trying to get it back to single digits. Strips the cords on the first. Coach Kaufman, like I said, you and I each had a chance to speak to him this afternoon, and what a firecracker.
He is.
I like him.
There's a reason they've been so successful there, and I think it starts with him. As with most really good programs.
Very laid back. Says that they'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Well, he was a 5-time Nevada Coach of the Year. And I think you could see why.
Speaks
One,
for
they
itself.
run good stuff. Their teams play really hard, and he's got good players. I mean, I think that's the trifecta.
And it's a public school, so they can't recruit players like Bishop Gorman or Findlay Prep and some of the others in the Las Vegas area. They have to take what shows up. Now, a lot of times you'll hear coaches say, well, we don't so much recruit as we attract. And I'm sure Coronado attracts quite a few able-bodied young men as well.
Well, they've got really good academics there, right?
Yep.
Obviously, the location. And then when you play a competitive schedule, I've found that really good players want to play against the best. You can't go away from it. They want to go to all these exposure events, and that's what he's done. He's taken his teams to big-time places.
Well, Jaden Hardy has certainly gotten them there. He told me, he said, you know, we've gotten a lot of invitations in the past couple of years. People want to see this young man play. In the left corner, shot in the air, Dallas Ryder, too strong. Ricochets back. Hardy getting a break right now. I'm sure it'll be a short breather. Ball stripped away out of bounds. Stays with the Braves. Attacking the basket to our left. Here at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. Socastee, this is their 141st Beach Ball Classic game.
Wow.
Played more than anybody, but here's the stunning stat of the day. Oh, nice drive to the hole. And back-to-back three-point opportunities the old-fashioned way, Heather.
Well, again, that's the play that absolutely kills me.
Yeah.
And if I'm sitting over there and I'm Coach Hilton, I am losing my mind. Either foul them or leave them alone. But, right now we're on pace for a 60-point half, and that's a lot of points, especially when you're sitting in a 2-3 zone.
Yeah, we're not even into the second quarter yet. And Coronado is doubling up on the Braves now. It was tied at 10. So a 14-2 run.
Turnovers, quick shots, and then defensively not being tough enough. And a lot of that's discipline, too. Discipline enough to either foul or leave it and be in the right position. But when they took charges, they were building walls defensively. The Braves were much better.
Jackson Kohler bothers a shot, and then Fat Daddy blocked one. And we'll tell you why they call him Fat Daddy in a moment as Kohler steals the pass intended for the post, leads it down floor for his point guard, Dallas Ryder, right now. He misses it, but Tyrell Hunt sticks it back through for a 14-point lead. I was going to say Socastee, the interesting stat about the Braves, they've played in all 39 Beach Ball Classics. Nice drive to the hole. Misses the layup. But Socastee has never won 2 games in this tournament in the same year. Never. Out of 39 years.
Now that really surprises me.
Even when there were 8 teams, you played 3 games. Now there are 16 teams and you play 4 games. The Braves have won first-round games. In fact, beat DeMatha and the famed Morgan Wooten one year. They beat Kwame Brown when he was at the academy down in Georgia and the #1 overall pick out of high school. We know how that worked out. But Socastee has won first-round games but have never won another game in the tournament. They've won 7th-place games, 13th-place games or whatever, but never won twice in 1 year, even when we had great teams that played for state championships like Cortland Freeman and Reggie Smith and Derek Hilton. And you see as Coronado nails another triple from straight away, one of Coach Hilton's assistants on the sideline is Alvin Green as the Braves turn it over again. Trey Walton loses this one. In the white shirt with the tie as the cameras pan down the court, sitting next to the end in the white shirt and tie is Alvin Green. He played on the state championship game team as well, but he was the state player of the year that year. He was the Gatorade South Carolina State Player of the Year, played 4 years at Coastal Carolina University as an all-Big South performer, and is back on the bench for his alma mater now with his teammate, Derek Hilton.
So I absolutely love that. When they bring the history back, I mean, that's one of the best things that you see is you got former players going back to a place that gave them and grew them and gave them so much. Is so cool to see.
6:36 to play first half. And Braves trying to insert. But I think they took this young man out, and the clock has not run yet. Or maybe he has some blood on his jersey. They're going to have to change jerseys for him. Second free throw by Fat Daddy is good. Terrell Hunt now with 5. And Coach Kaufman said that early in the year, it was either this year or last year, they had a, nice teardrop runner by Tybrin Lewis, who is the son of a former Socastee Brave that played under Coach Dan D'Antoni as well. And long shot is off the mark by Maxwell Howard. He made one earlier. But Coach Kaufman said they had a school assembly where the students at Coronado High School could ask the players anything. You know, they went around, they introduced themselves and asked them, you know, why are you, you know, one of the young ladies, yeah, that's Alvin Green right there on your screen. He was the Gatorade State Player of the Year his senior year and led that team. He was tremendous. Good young man, too. I love Alvin. But back to Fat Daddy. He said, young lady immediately threw up her hand and said, so why do they call you Fat Daddy? And he said that Tyrell, when he first got to school, he was very shy. They're very well-spoken, 3.7 GPA, very smart kid, but he was shy and he didn't like to talk a lot. And but he said, well, and I said, what? And that's what she said. What? Said, my mama named me Fat Daddy because I was a fat baby. And he's been Fat Daddy ever since.
That's amazing.
I love it.
Definitely #1 nickname of the tournament.
And I said, is it okay? I mean, I don't want to embarrass the kid. No, we all call him Fat Daddy. That's what he's known by in Las Vegas. So, Fat Daddy, we love you, bro. We're not making fun. We think it's a cool nickname.
Interesting lineup we've got here. Where do you think Coronado's going? Is he upset with the first group, or going to go ahead and rest them for the duration of the tournament? Kind of get their legs under them.
I think he's trying to keep the score down here before the half, and he'll bring them back to start the second half. In the ball game right now, Trad Natras, number 23. Number 25 is Calvin Schmeling. Here's the steal and a layup short by Nick Walters. The Braves on the run. In the right corner, it's Josh LaCour out front. Mikey Herron, leading scorer for the Braves, all the way to the cup, off the glass, bang!
Yeah, I love that no call. No block, no charge, just to play on. Keeps the flow of the game going like it should. I mean, the officials really dictate a lot of this as it goes and how physical the game gets called. I think they've done a really nice job.
Andrew Marshall also in the ball game for Coronado. He's number 11. And one of the starters, Felix Reeves, is still in there, number 5. He's guarding the ball.
You know, that was hard for me to compliment officials, Alan.
Oh, I know. I've seen you on the sideline.
But write that down. I did compliment them.
I've seen you on the sideline. Those officials do not want to hear the stomp of your stiletto. I know that for a fact. I was asking last week when you were coaching here in the women's tournament, part of the event. We have a girls tournament and we have a women's challenge, and your team was playing a game here, Spartanburg Methodist College, and I noticed that you've always done it, but most all of the women's coaches were wearing 3-inch stilettos. Why wear that on the sideline? I think you'd break a heel in a heartbeat.
It's the weirdest thing. Why is basketball a dress-up sport? Think about that. Think about that. I mean, what other sport is dressing up? Very few. I don't know why we've set that precedent. But the other thing is weird. Why do we warm up an hour? So we come out and everybody comes in at the 60-minute mark and we're out here warming up. And I've questioned that many times. Why are we warming up for 1 hour when in high school don't they go like 10 minutes and toss it up?
15, 20.
Yeah.
You can, an hour seems excessive, it does.
I think we just do it because it's always been done that way.
Yep.
But you're seeing a trend now of coaches dressing down a little bit. Obviously, it's way more comfortable.
No question. Nice drive to the lane, put up by Coronado. Lots of fouls. And if you watch Marshall at all, where Dan D'Antoni is now, you know he is trying to be a trendsetter. He wears his Marshall 304 Boys T-shirt under his sport coat. he's got Armani suits, but he's wearing a T-shirt under the sport coat.
You know, I asked him about it. He said, you know, I always did that as a high school coach, and
yeah.
Why wouldn't I do it, you know, at the college level? And I think it's a great deal. You know, Buzz Williams, he does that before he comes into his press conferences, and he'll put on a T-shirt for his foundation or something he wants to advertise.
Yeah. And the ball is going to be knocked out of bounds, and we have got a timeout on the floor. With 3:46 to play in the first half, Coronado pulling away now, up 19, 35-16, as you watch the 2019 Beach Ball Classic from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
You wear many hats, and HTC knows what you need to keep the day running smoothly. You're an entertainment coordinator, appointment maker, and business superhero. You're a personal chef, chauffeur extraordinaire, and a trusted protector. No matter where life takes you, HTC keeps you connected by bringing world-class technology right here to Horry and Georgetown counties, because you are here, and so are we.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
.346 to play in the half. Coronado pulling away from the host team, the Socastee Braves. Coach Kaufman's team got in here about 7-8 hours ago and pretty much putting on a show. Don't look any worse for wear to me.
No, they look pretty sharp, to be honest with you. But I'm telling you, their strategy of airport travel. When I first got to ECU and realized, you know, that was when we were in Conference USA, and the travel was tough.
Oh, yeah.
We'd go down to UTEP and need to be on 2 different airplanes to get there. And, you know, I learned that, you know, hydration is a big thing. And, you know, we'd get off those planes and, you know, we wouldn't be the same team. And so, you know, Coach has already said he's got some strategy applied to that, and they did a couple things once they got to the hotel to get them loosened up. And I think it's, right now you would think that they've been here 3 days practicing, getting ready for this tournament.
Andrew Marshall makes his first bucket on his second attempt. And still has a inexperienced lineup on the floor for Coronado. Calvin Schmeling, the junior. Also running the point right now is Chad Natras. Natras through the center jump circle. Sometimes fall into my radio call. Heather?
Well, and I'm going to tell you, I love what they're running against the zone. A lot of times people just spread it out and drive it, and that's what people would play zone to prevent the quick hits. But they've been overloading a side. That time they didn't, but they've been overloading a side. They put the guy at the nail. You know, you get them there, and all of a sudden you've got lobs on the inside with the short corner man. So, I mean, I love what they're running against the zone.
Very patient on offense against that zone. And they get a steal. Taken right back by the Braves. There's a fight for it in the open floor. Finally pulled away by Tybryn Lewis. Lewis skips it across. Ezra Lawson all the way to the bucket. Can't find the bottom. and it's lost out of bounds. You just used a term there that when I got into coaching, coaches didn't use very much, the nail. Now, when Coach D'Antoni went to the NBA, and I got to start listening to coaches' meetings in the NBA, and they used different terminology, the nail being one. In your vernacular, nice shot by Trad Natras. In your vernacular, where is the nail on the floor?
On the free throw line, in the middle of the free throw line.
Middle of the free throw line.
Every court in the country's got that nail. And, old school, when I was in 6th grade and learned how to shoot free throws, you lined up, put that right foot right on the nail, and that's how you knew that you were lined up to shoot a free throw. And I think a lot of people still do that. I think that's a little antiquated. But we want to throw that thing to the nail. Any good offense, when it gets to the nail, you've got all kinds of options on the weak side.
2:01 to play, another time out on the floor, this time by the Braves. They have not scored in the last 3.5 minutes as Coronado's starting to pull away. Other terminology that seems rather, mindless is like mid-post, the restricted area, which now in college you have, which the NBA only had for a while. Now you see the restricted area is painted on the floor here at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center, but that's because we play men's and women's college games in here. It has nothing to do with the high school game. So if you take a charge within that restricted area, you can still be called for a defensive foul.
Yeah, I think it makes the game easier for the officials. If they're inside it, it's an easy block. They're outside it, it's an easy charge call. So it keeps it simplistic. But what you're going to see a year from now is that three-point line is going to be moved back.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to change the look of the courts, and I hope that what it does is it prevents people from shooting them. Because I think right now on the men's and women's side, we're shooting way too many threes with people who aren't, in my opinion, good enough to shoot them. If you're not shooting at plus 40%, then we shouldn't be taking threes out there. And I think extending the line back will decrease the volume of shots being taken.
And the three-point line, as you see it on our floor, is the blue line. That is the high school line. The black line is the college line. And we also are going to have the international line painted on the floor next year because we'll have some college teams coming in that play at the international level now, men's teams. And, boy, in the first few months of college men's basketball, Heather, I know you were concentrating on your team, but the shooting percentages at the new international line almost made me physically ill. But they're starting to adjust to it now. But it's been atrocious shooting the first month of the season.
A year from now, it's coming to the women's side as well. And it's, again, my hope is that coaches are going, you can take them and you can't take them, because it is extending it out enough that it's not a shot for everybody. And the way that the athletes are bigger and stronger now, that 19-9-foot line, it's a shot that everybody can shoot.
And we had to travel as Felix Reeves was loading up to throw it down with both hands. He got his feet kind of tangled and took an extra step to get there, and still didn't rise up high enough to get it over the rim. So I think he knew he was going to be called for the violation anyway. So Socastee gets it back. Mikey Herron. Herron, foul line extended. Into the paint. Nice bounce pass, low post, but he can't control it. And he's fouled as he gathers it back in.
Socastee needed that foul call on the first play, but definitely on that second play to keep this game slowed down. But, we've just seen back-to-back missed dunks happen.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, when I work with the Nike clinics, I always train the men's teams. And I tell them every time, if you get a chance to dunk it, you dunk it every time. It's wonderful for me to be around it. So I'm a big proponent of dunking. I think it's a momentum changer. And on the women's side, the same thing, we throw a backdoor pass or we take a charge. It creates the same momentum as what you're getting on the men's side here with dunking.
You're 100% correct. I've heard Coach D'Antoni say a number of times, if you don't have a wide open three, go in and dunk it. He said dunking is the best thing because, like you said, it does change the excitement as we got a tie up underneath the basket, and it's going to stay with Coronado.
So as you know, I went and spent about a week up there learning what they do in their system at Marshall. And, that was the big thing I kept asking. How does this translate to the women's game? Because he is going off the ball screen and throwing it up and telling the guys to dunk it every time. And, a lot of times it's an element of surprise. No one thinks you're throwing it up there to dunk it. And I think that's why you see such huge crowds for their games. because it is super fun to watch.
You're exactly right. They want to get the highest percentage shot they can, but the best shot in basketball is the corner three. The next best shot is any other three, but if you can get a layup or a dunk, that's a high percentage shot. So some coaches have accepted that analytics, but some have still resisted to buy into the new points per possession analytic. He preaches, as Mike D'Antoni does, more than 1 point per possession, you're doing great. Less than 1 point per possession, maybe not so much. So you're shooting for a point per possession, and anything better than that, 1.2, 1.3, that's what you're looking for. And Coronado goes on a 32-6 run to close out the first half. And we'll be right here. I think we're going to have Kevin Schneider interview the head coach, but he told me earlier he was taking off after the last game. But be that as it may, 42-16 is your score. Coronado leads the host team, the Socastee Braves, as Derek and Hilton taking time out here from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It is the Beach Ball Classic on Stadium.
There's an amazing place where family vacation memories are made and shared over and over again, where new experiences never disappoint, and where the only thing better than visiting is coming back again. Book your family vacation at visitmyrtlebeach.com and discover amazing values on area accommodations and family-friendly attractions. There's never been a better time to visit Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where family time has never been so much fun.
It'll fizzle out. Hello, everybody. Jack Murphy, courtside with the executive director, as promised. Hello, John Rhodes.
Jack, doing good.
How you like what you see so far for day one?
Well, it's been pretty exciting. We've had a couple of runaway games, but also we've had some close ones. And, you know, the first day of a tournament is always separating the men from the boys a little bit.
Right. Yep.
And now tomorrow, I think we'll have some games that are a lot tighter, a lot closer. And then when you start on back on Saturday, you get into the quarterfinals, then the matchups are going to be really, really great because we got some good teams. But as all tournaments go, every team is not going to be the best team there is. But you're going to have some teams going to get beat and get beat pretty good. But they'll move on to the consolation bracket. And usually when they go to consolation bracket, they balance out, and that bracket becomes very competitive also.
Okay.
So that's just the nature of tournaments. Doesn't matter where you are, when it comes to a high school tournament, it's going to happen.
Well, the weather has been absolutely just super.
Hey, sunny Myrtle Beach.
I love it. You couldn't have bought the forecast like
well,
we had.
You know, the Chamber of Commerce got together and, you know, brought it up a little. You know, I think Sunday's going to be almost 70 degrees.
That's going to be great for all the kids because they get to go out and sample what we get to call home every day.
Well, they're going out to the Grand Prix track.
Okay.
They're getting to ride around, then they get to go on the beach a little bit and play and do some frisbee and that kind of stuff. And a lot of the kids that are here have never seen the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
So that's the first for them, and it's exciting. And then they also have the ability to go down to Ripley's Aquarium and visit that. A lot of them have not had a chance to go to an aquarium.
Okay.
So we travel a lot ourselves. We take a lot for granted.
Yeah, we do.
But when you get these kids coming in from all over the country, for instance, the kids from the West Coast, from Harvard Westlake, they've never seen Atlantic Ocean. They know what the Pacific Ocean looks like.
Yeah, sure.
But they don't know what the Blue Atlantic looks like.
Well, Sunday's going to be a real special day. I've always enjoyed the three-point competition and the slam dunk. Going to be televised this year. That's cool.
It's going to be exciting. And listen, as you've seen already, we got some dunkers.
Yeah, we do. And I love these kids that come out of nowhere with the three-point shots.
You know, you cannot discount anyone. You never know when you're going to find a diamond in the rough. We have found several players already in this tournament that has become a shining light on the game, and hopefully some college coaches have seen some of the games on TV or on the internet, and will make a contact with these kids and give them a chance to go to college and play some ball.
Well, is there going to be some high-profile coaches in the building this year? I mean, typically when I look around, I see some big names.
You know, it's not like girls. Girls tournaments, you'll see more high-profile coaches in the girls tournament, because it's before Christmas and most of them are not really playing but one game. The men are in tournaments all over the country. And so it really cuts down unless they've got a big-time player that they're trying to recruit to get to sign, then they'll show up. But, we've had Coach Williams here, Coach Kay's been here, we've had Calipari here. I mean, we've had a lot of big-time coaches to come to the game, but they usually call and say we'll come in and we give them a spot at the press table and let them have some freedom to watch the game, because they're always accommodated at halftime.
Oh, sure.
They'll sign autographs and take pictures, which is nice.
Well, go get you some rest. We got another exciting half of basketball. I'll see you tomorrow.
Half of basketball? Huh, we got 5 more days.
Yeah, we do. We do. That's why I need you to go get some rest. You stay with us. We got more. For VisitMyrtleBeach.com, I'm Jack Murphy. Come on back. More great beach ball after this.
Back courtside at the Lambeau Arena, inside the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. Final half of the final game of the first day of the Beach Ball Classic 2019, our 39th annual event. And it was tied at 10. Both teams playing lights out for the first 5 minutes of the game, and then Coronado flipped a switch. And their defense led to lots and lots of offense.
Well, Socastee did exactly what you should have done. It's come out strong, being, the local team here and want to have a good showing at home. Thought that they played really, really tough, but early turnovers, quick shot, and then bad fouls, really cost Socastee, and that's, the lead gap to 26.
Points off turnovers, 12-2 in favor of the Cougars. Second chance points, 15-2 in favor of the Cougars, but the Braves' turnovers really hurt them. 14 turnovers in the first half. They created 11, but they just couldn't turn them into points. Yeah,
that's right. And the stat that stands out to me is when you're talking about no double-figure scores right now, even having scored 42 first-half points for Coronado, but they played so many kids.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're looking at it. Everybody's getting in, getting some rotations, getting a feel for this court, being out of town, which I think is going to help them as they go throughout the tournament. 9
of the 12 players who have played in the first half have scored.
Yeah.
So you're right. They've got a lot of people involved, and Socastee did have a double-figure scorer in Mike Herron. He was 4 of 8 in the first half, but unfortunately he didn't get a lot of help. He got 2 points from Cameron Spain, 2 points from Tyberin Lewis, and that was it. But, again, Socastee, as I said to Derek before the game, their roster that's in the program has 17 players listed. they gave me the list of players that were available tonight, 11.
Right.
And I went to Derek and I said, what happened to these kids? He said, I had an 8th grader starting for me, 2 freshmen. They're either injured, had left the team, or he had to suspend them for a game or 2. He's down to 11 able bodies, and 3 of those are freshmen. So I said, oh, you were young, and so you decided to go younger.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And when you're rebuilding, that's the element of you got to have some luck.
Yeah.
So you really can't afford to have injuries. You definitely can't afford to have any behavioral problems, right? And so now he's young, and his bench is really, really no depth on it at all.
I tell you, if Coach Hilton, he said that he was just going to work on them tonight.
Yeah.
He knew that they were going to be outmanned physically and talent-wise. There's no question about that. We're not telling you a secret that there's more talent in blue than there is in white, but this will help them when they get into region play after the first of the year. We always said that in the Beach Ball Classic, where Socastee has never won 2 games. These games against teams like Coronado and a Dorman or someone else will help them in play once they get into region.
It makes you better. You level up, and you get to know who's going to show up when it's time to show up. And, you know, Heron's got the 12 points out of 16, but he's also got the 4 turnovers. In my mind, he's got the ball in his hands probably a little too much, but against this pressure, you know, they're having a really hard time making more than 2 passes before they have to take a shot.
Well, the Braves, Coronado's Felix Reeves, he played more than anyone else, and he only played 12 of the 16 minutes in the first half. Everyone else had at least 3 minutes, but it was shared 7, 7, 7, 8, 5. So a lot of guys got in the first half, and so they didn't overtax themselves, having left at 1 a.m. this morning to get from Las Vegas to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Well, and the worst thing you want is fatigued legs, causing injuries. You know, they came to this tournament to have a great showing, and I think as an experienced coach, as Coach Kaufman is, he's thinking more than just this game. He's looking at what's happening tomorrow and the following day.
Well, I was talking to Coach Isaacs, and I asked him, I said, are you okay with me telling one last story about their rivalry with Bishop Gorman? He said, absolutely. He said, Grant Rice and I are 2 of the closest friends on the planet. We do a radio show together, and he said, Bishop Gorman is the private school. They're the big, dog in town, and they can recruit if they choose. And he said, we're the public school, and we're supposed to be the underdogs. He said, but I'm the bad guy. Grant Rice is the good guy. Grant is the nicest guy in the world. I mean, I love Grant to death. And he said, but when we do things together, he's the good guy, I'm the bad guy, and I accept it. And I said, well, I spoke to Van Coleman, a basketball channel out in your neck of the woods, because he lives in Henderson, and he said he told me if you don't lose the Isaacs kid, then you probably are better than Gorman. He said, no, we're better than Gorman anyway. I said, I love that. He said, no, we're better than them anyway.
You know, you and I both pull for the bad guys, don't we?
Yes. They don't call me the bad boy of sports radio for nothing.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And so I love Coach Kaufman. I said he is a firecracker, and he's my kind of guy. I will have a cocktail with him at the hospitality room later tonight, I'll bet you. Underhand scoop to the hoop. Nice job by Sacastee's Preston Smith, his first 2 of the ball game.
Well, it's good to get some different people scoring the basketball for Socastee. I think that's going to show a lot. And their 2-3 zone looks pretty good.
And you see the starters back in for both teams, as I figured Coronado would give their starters a few more minutes, and then they'll probably sit after the 8-minute mark the rest of the way and pass underneath. Jaden Hardy, number 5 overall player in the junior class, averages 31 points a game. Only has 8 tonight, but he's only played 8 minutes.
Right. So. Well, you know, Sacastee's going to have to decide how they're going to guard that overload. So they're overloading that, throwing them to the corner, short corner, and post. Which one are you going to guard? You know, my thought is let them shoot the 3. But they're letting them throw it inside. And with that short bench, I think the last thing Socastee can do is foul. You know, that fouls are errors, especially in a game like this.
Hardy trying to keep one of the Socastee Braves up, Evers or Lawson. He was falling down, and Hardy was trying to keep him upright, but a pass to the low post, lost out of bounds by the Braves. Now, if there's any criticism, and I have no doubt that Jaden Hardy is a fine free throw shooter, but in this ball game, he is only 1 for 3 from the free throw line, and that's not normal. That first three-point shot he took was as smooth as silk, so you know he's got to be a better free throw shooter than that.
Well, and I'm sure he goes a ton, so you've got to be. I mean, I look at it from a recruiting perspective. I have all my coaching friends complain about, oh, we can't shoot free throws. We're a terrible free throw shooting team. And I ask them, when you recruited them, did you pay attention to what their free throw percentage was? And no one does. You don't even look at it.
Good point.
You know, we got a big on our team, and she shoots free throws well. And I go, that's going to get you a scholarship at the next level. A big that can shoot free throws? I mean,
absolutely.
That's tough.
That was Mikey Herron hitting another three for the Braves. He had a couple in the first half. Fat Daddy pitches it up off the glass, and on the other side, it's Kohler tipping it back in on the weak side. Second half action, final game of the first day. Only 4 games today. There'll be 6 tomorrow. A couple of consolation bracket games starting at noon and 1:30. And then we'll have more first round action in the second bracket. Ball hits the front of the rim, almost climbs over, but Kohler's making hay underneath.
Well, 6'11" kid getting a rebound, and that outlet pass, unbelievable, then covers the glass on the weak side. I mean, and he runs the floor well, especially for his size.
The Braves still attacking the bucket. I like that. Mikey Herron, now I believe he's got 15. So he's going after it. Actually, that's 17. He just put 2 more in, hit a 3 and a 2, 17 points, leads all scorers, 6 of 11 from the field, 3 of 5 from distance. And here's a 22-footer, straight away, bingo.
Well, it looks like he's playing horse, doesn't it? And I don't think that's a kid you want to play horse with.
No, that was well beyond the international line, so we know he can make that one. So no doubt. Of course, everybody, from what I understand, I mean, there's no program in America that has not offered a scholarship to Jared Hardy. Make that Jaden Hardy. And another 3, this time in the right corner, Felix Reeves. Coronado extends their lead back to 30.
Well, he's such a sleek athlete. I mean, as soon as you walk in the gym and see him, you go, look at these broad shoulders, high calves. I mean, an amazing athlete, low body fat and skilled.
Everything seems to be effortless, as I said in the first half. And dead ball, timeout on the floor with 11:37, 36, 35. They've not stopped the clock, but it's 53-23 as we are here at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center for the 39th Annual Beach Ball Classic from Myrtle Beach on Stadium.
You wear many hats, and HTC knows what you need to keep the day running smoothly. You're an entertainment coordinator, appointment maker, and business superhero. You're a personal chef, chauffeur extraordinaire, and a trusted protector. No matter where life takes you, HTC keeps you connected by bringing world-class technology right here to Horry and Georgetown counties, because you are here, and so are we.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
11:38 to play in the ball game as the Socastee Braves putting up a fight. But Coronado just too strong. They're shooting better in the second half than they did in the first half, 48.5%. And here in the second half, they're 4 of 8 at 50%. The Braves are 3 of 7, 43%. And Coronado comes back out with most of their starters. Jared Hardy taking a seat. Why I keep calling Jared, it's Jaden. Jaden Hardy is getting a breather.
That's going to be a name we hear for a long time.
Believe me, I was getting ready to say, I will know that by heart in a couple of years when he more than likely ends up in the ACC. Of course, I shouldn't say that because he likely ends up in the Pac-12 as well, but I know for a fact that Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, everybody around here wants Jaden Hardy. And tell you what, Cameron Spain goes in, averages 11 points a ball game, and he missed a dunk earlier. That one was pretty impressive. We have seen some dunks here today, Heather, that I have never seen in the Beach Ball Classic before. In game 1 of this tournament for the Dorman Cavaliers, Justin Amati slammed one. His first 5 buckets were dunks, and he slammed one in the face of a defender so hard that I thought it was going to bring the basket stanchion down.
Oh, I love that stuff.
That's the hardest dunk I've ever
that's
seen.
the excitement of men's college basketball, isn't it? And now you're doing this at the high school level and playing above the rim.
There's Fat Daddy. A little off balance hanger from the right side.
You know, Coach Kaufman doesn't get enough credit, but they're running great stuff against the zone. I mean, they're screening that thing in, cutting above the top, and making Socastee decide how are you going to guard. And they've chosen to guard the corners. You know, maybe we need to guard inside a little bit more right now. But again, they're going to play zone all year long. They want to get ready for the region. And then Coach just mentioned to me, Coach Hilton said, listen, we have got to have our rotations good against this zone. And I would agree with him.
Another dribble drive by Cameron Spain. Draws the foul from Jackson Kohler. That'll be Kohler's first foul. And Spain misses the front end of a 2-shot. Personal, 10-19 to go. 30-point game. Coronado has held to that for the past quarter and a half. They went on a 32-6 run to close out the first half. And here in the second half, they've continued. 3-point shot from the corner is no good, and the Braves have a chance to push tempo. All the way to the hole. Mikey gets the roll. Mikey Herron, top scorer in the ball game with 19 now. And a blocking foul by Ezra Lawson in the open floor. Got to give a guy a chance to put it on the deck and drive it.
Well, and you know, it's just a really bad foul. So Coronado's bringing it up. They got a free throw line fast break going. You know, all of a sudden, and that's where young players have got to learn the flow of the game, right? You're getting a little momentum. The last thing you want to do is foul, even if they're taking that on a side set. That's some of the deal now in the women's game. You know, we're at 5 fouls. You're shooting 2 the whole way. So fouls are big-time errors in the game of basketball when you understand about how to win.
Kohler underneath has the ball raked out of his hands. Right into a Braves. Here's the drive. Preston Smith kicks it out for a 3 in the air. Too strong. Weak side rebound for the Braves. Nice job by Mikey Herron to be the outlet. Staying in the backcourt. Herron tries to stroke another trifecta. It won't go down. And I suspect here any second now we'll see Coach Kaufman empty the bench. Kohler saves it in bounds, but right to Marcus Smith. Smith, the Mighty Mite, 5'8" junior.
I like the hustle. We like the fight, right? I mean, that's what you want when your team's down 30. You know, if you're Coach Hilton, you're going, let's keep coaching, keep teaching, keep having them improve. As long as their hustle's right, you know, there's a lot of things they can do as that region play starts later on here in, a couple months, right?
Yep, they'll start after the first of the year. Hey, you like hustle and fight? I like that hair. If I had hair like that, I would show it off too.
Isn't that something?
I wish I had hair that good. I lost mine a long time ago. I'm hanging on to every strand. Oh, he loads the gun for 3 from about 23 and decides not to pull the trigger. Foul line extended. He will, though. In and out, no good. Fight for the rebound. Kicked around. And it's finally picked up in the open court by Mikey Herron. Officials tonight. Joey Kerr right there on the call. Dan Poe and Chris Martin. Martin will hand the ball off to the Braves. Josh LaCour will inbound sideline right. Heavy pressure by Coronado causes the turnover. 5-second count. Coronado not satisfied. These guys coming off the bench want to show that they can play too. Maxwell Howard, Nick Walters, Sergeant Jeffrey in for the first time. 6'5" sophomore. In the middle, that's Andrew Marshall. Marshall gets it there, gets it underneath to Jeffrey, and Jeffrey blows the bunny underneath. And tried to get it back. May have picked up a silly foul. Nice block shot by Andrew Marshall. Keeps the Braves off the board with 8:04 to go in the ball game. Like I said earlier, the biggest rivalry in Las Vegas, maybe not in the entire state of Nevada, but the biggest rivalry in Las Vegas is Coronado and Bishop Gorman, and they're going to show their talents to the nation against one another. January the 24th over at UNLV. They're going to play on ESPN. So nationally televised broadcast, even though this one is nationally televised from Myrtle Beach. They're going to play on the mother station January 24th at UNLV, Gorman and Coronado. And we'll see if Coach Kaufman, his prediction that they're better than Gorman comes true.
I love that. That makes it a good rivalry, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. It's great.
And it's two guys who run great programs. That's what I love to see. You know, anybody can be really good for a year, you know, or a season or 2 seasons. But these programs have been good. What a free throw line fast break.
Yes.
Here with the reserves and executed perfectly besides the ability to change the scoreboard at the end.
Sergeant
well done.
Jeffrey with the chance had his shot blocked, but out front. But yeah, what makes the rivalry a rivalry, what makes it good, is that both teams have tradition and they're good every year. You can't have a rivalry where one team dominates for year after year after year.
Well, I've laughed many times hearing coaches talk about rivalries, and especially when it's dominated on one side, and you go, well, they think it's a rivalry.
Right.
You know, we don't we don't get up quite as much as they get up for it.
Well, Heather, I would like to say I didn't understand that, but yes, being an NC State fan, it was a rivalry with the Tar Heels when I was a kid. Not so much anymore. But maybe, just maybe, Kevin Keats changes that.
Well, that's what makes the Duke-Carolina rivalry so good.
Oh,
and if you
no
look
question.
at it, it's like tied in the series, right? I mean, it's one game here or there, and they're splitting every year, and that's what makes it so fun. And if you're from North Carolina, you're going to pick sides.
No doubt. No doubt about it. And the coach of the women's team at NC State, did you follow him at Francis Marion, or did he follow you?
What? No. He was there
after Sylvia.
Right.
Okay.
The rich tradition at Francis Marion. I mean, Coach Atchell being there,
No
Wes
doubt.
Moore,
who's
at NC State, but Trudy Lacey, who was a WNBA coach.
Wow.
You know, so there's 7th all-time winningest women's basketball program in the country. A lot of people don't know that. You know, an hour from Myrtle Beach, and you know, I'm proud to have spent 3 years of my career there and learned a lot, and was
you
thankful
did great
for
stuff
that.
there.
It was fun.
You did a really good job at Francis Marion.
Coach Atchell and I were talking last week about it and said, what's been your most favorite year coaching? And we both shared my 09 season at Francis Marion, and she shared that was her best 11 years, she said, of her career. and obviously experienced so much success there, and their tradition that she built is what makes that place so special.
Well, and that's why, you know, I said on the women's side, NC State and North Carolina, more of a rivalry because NC State has gotten better, and Wes Moore has his team in the top 10 now, and North Carolina, well, not so much. And I won't comment on the exit of Sylvia Hatchell, but she is a very good friend of the Beach Ball Classic, helps with the Carolinas Challenge Women's Tournament, and she's going to be more involved in the Crestcom Bank Holiday Invitational next year. And we've got a Coronado player down face first on the floor. Coach Kaufman coming to look.
Yeah, I think he hit it. Yeah, he hit his back of his head there on the loose ball. I think that was a clean play, but he did take a nasty fall.
I think he'll be fine. That's Nick Walters. Walters, a 6-foot senior. Yeah. Coach Kaufman seeing him, but yeah, it's been a good little run for the Wolfpack women, and hopefully they'll continue that. I know that you know, the ACC hoops, just like it was when you were at East Carolina. I mean, you had to deal with Gino every year. UConn, I mean, I can't imagine that knowing that trip to Stores every year was on your schedule.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, it helped me in the offseason and recruit against North Carolina, NC State. And, you know, being at ECU, it was always kind of you got the second or third tier players in our state. But I'm going, who else is playing UConn 3 times a year? We drew them 3 years in a row in the tournament. You know, we've 9 times in a 3-year period. And, cut it to like a 36-point window. And I'm going, I should get a lifetime contract.
That's right. You should
coaching my tail off.
You should have gotten a raise playing within 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns of UConn.
But we've all got these interesting paths how we got into coaching. I was asking Coach Kaufman, I said, how'd you get here and how did that all work? And
okay.
He said, you know, he moved to Los Angeles and worked for the Johnny Carson show. Did that for about 15 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Played college hoops at Southern Cal, and you know, he said he's got a great gig. He was like, I never leave here. I've just got a great thing happening. And you know, we all know if you've coached high school or small college hoops, it is a pretty cool gig.
Well, he's just chilling on the end of the bench right now.
I think
Life's
he's
good right now.
I think those are the hosts.
They
right?
are. That's the ambassadors.
That's one of the best things about the beach ball is your ambassadors and getting to go around and get to know all of those guys. And the way that this thing is hosted is top notch.
Well, we thank you for saying that, Heather. This is my 30th Beach Ball Classic in broadcasting, but I've been on the committee for about 26 years. My first Beach Ball Classic was number 6 when it was still at Socastee High School. I missed the Danny Ferry versus Jeff Lebo, which you coached with at East Carolina. I missed the Danny Ferry Jeff Lebo year. That was number 5, but from number 6 on, it's been a good little run for me. I even said, I'll say on my show, the beach ball was such a big deal at Socastee when everybody wanted to get in, but not everybody could. I had to sneak in the first 2 years.
Is that right? Standing room only is what I've been told.
Standing room only, and I got caught sneaking in a couple of times and got kicked out. And then I got to know Coach D'Antoni better and joined his staff as a volunteer assistant. And the rest, as they say, is history. And we moved here in 1994, and it's just grown and grown and grown. Now, you can get tickets to the Beach Ball Classic now. We've got 3 nationally ranked teams here. And Socastee, a blocking foul. I thought that might be a charge. Nice job defensively by Josh LaCour. But when I got on Coach D'Antoni's staff, we had some very impressive wins through the years, but traveling to different tournaments, much like Coronado does. We traveled to Las Vegas to play in their invitational. Larry McKay ran a great job out there. They'd bring in 50 or 60 teams the week before Christmas, but we've gone to the Bahamas and Alaska and Iowa, just so many different places to play. And but Coronado, they certainly, with the help of Nike, get to play in a lot of different events that even Socastee doesn't today. But the Beach Ball Classic brought us a lot of recognition over the years where we could go other places so they could come to our place later on.
Well, the game of basketball, it had me traveling places I would have never gone otherwise. And it affords a lot of kids an opportunity to experience things that they'll never experience otherwise. So I mean, sport's a cool thing, you know, when done the right way.
Well, I wish I could tick off. My brain as I've gotten older doesn't hold as much information anymore, but I used to be able to tick off name after name after name of the players that have been here and done some remarkable things. But we had Bishop Gorman has won this tournament a couple of times, and we thought maybe Clark County had a chance a couple of years ago, but this could be the second team from the Vegas area to take home a championship. They'll certainly move on to the second round tomorrow night. Excuse me, they'll have off until Saturday night. They will play the winner of the last game. That's St. Francis out of Alpharetta, Georgia. St. Francis defeated Izard County, Arkansas, 73-64. So St. Francis of Georgia will play Coronado on Saturday afternoon at 5:15. That is their next game in the winner's bracket. Dead ball is a timeout and a double up by Coronado, 62-31 with 3:44 to play. From the Myrtle Beach Convention Center in South Carolina, this is the 39th Beach Ball Classic on Stadium. .343 to play as Sacristy has made just one of its last 11 from the field. They've turned the ball over 4 times in the last 3.5, and so Coronado just keeps pouring it on, but now the backups are getting a chance to show what they can do. Sacristy also with backups in the ball game. Shut up, no good by Ezra Lawson, but going the other way, off the window, put back up. It doesn't get the roll. My goodness. Earlier today, the first game of the afternoon, which I broadcast with Kevin Schneider, our national recruiting director from Big Shots Basketball. Dorman defeated Buchtel out of Cleveland, Ohio. Dorman from Spartanburg, South Carolina, who won the Chick-fil-A Classic American Division last week by beating Greensboro Day School. You know how good Greensboro Day School is.
Very good. Freddie Johnson's been there a long time.
He's a legend in North Carolina.
A Hall of Fame coach, without a doubt.
And you played your college ball in Greensboro, right?
Actually, for his brother,
really?
Steve Johnson,
How about
as a matter
that?
of fact.
Did not know that. I knew you played at Greensboro College.
Yeah.
I didn't know you played for Freddie's brother.
Coaching blood, yeah.
Oh, and telling you, Freddie is, I've known him for 40 years. He is basketball personified in North Carolina.
And, you know, he also played at Greensboro College.
I didn't know that.
He did, and he's a Board of Trustee member now.
Woo! Big three.
And just a heck of a ball coach.
Yeah, Freddie, and, you know, you wouldn't know it to look at him. He doesn't look like a basketball junkie, but he is. And but they defeated Greensboro Day School last week did Dorman, and they're coming here. Another three, back-to-back, by a guy who was just added to their roster today. What was his name, Wayne? He was just added today. You asked me if I had number 2, and I said no. He's Angelo Kambala. So I want to get him in there. He back-to-back threes.
Well, welcome. Way to show up.
Yeah. Gets in the last 2 minutes of the ball game and drains a couple of triples. Angelo Kambala. Congratulations. But also today, Whitney Young, who won this tournament in 2012, defeated St. Thomas out of Houston, Texas, 71-60. And then St. Francis from Alpharetta, Georgia, defeated Izard County, Arkansas, 73-64. Coronado will play St. Francis, and Dorman will play Whitney Young in the first games that are broadcast on Saturday, 3:30, 5:15, 7, and 8:45.
The Cougars reserves, it's worth noting. I mean, they have stepped in and played hard, played well. I mean, obviously that's the culture of this team, but it's what a lot of young players don't understand. When you get valuable minutes and what you choose to do with those just builds equity with the coach and goes, hey, man, I'm going to give that guy a couple minutes here or there just to continue to build that confidence. I've been really impressed. They're running their stuff. They know their sets. They're defending without fouling, you know, on the defensive end, and they're covering the glass on the O boards. Really good stuff from the reserves here for the Cougars.
Well, you can tell they're well-schooled, and they want their playing time as well. They've fallen into a little 2-3 zone themselves. These telecasts of the 39th Annual Beach Ball Classic are brought to you in part by these outstanding sponsors, Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce and the Crown Reef Resort, Myrtle Beach. They are hosting all the teams this week. We had 56 girls teams last week at the Crown Reef, and there is Angelo Kambala again. 3 for 3. He likes shooting at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center, baby. He says, Coach, put me in. I've earned some more time.
He's a little guy, isn't he? But he shoots it really well.
Yeah, he says, I've earned time now, Coach. You got to admit. And it's tipped in. Nice job by Cameron Spain. But yeah, Crown Reef hosted 56 girls teams last week and 16 boys teams this week. We thank them. Another 3 from straight away. Doesn't get the roll on this one. And speaking of Lucky Dog Television Productions, our crew has been here all day long. They do not get a break. Maybe 15 minutes here and there, but the folks in the truck, our camera people, our production crew, they are doing a remarkable job. Our technical director, Andrew Mize, and he's actually directing right now. Our fearless leader has turned it over to Andrews to direct the final few minutes of tonight's broadcast. Our producers are Delaney Mize and Scott Lineberger. Our replay technician is Brandon Goodman. Our pregame host is Banana Jack Murphy. Our graphics coordinator, Natalie Adams. Technical assistants are Tristan Blackman and William Bone. But I want to send a special thank you to our camera people. They work every game, every minute, all day for 6 days. And, of course, they are Valerie Knapp, Jim Lewis, Wynn Singleton, and Zach Lambert, and our director and executive director, Donald Smith. He's spectating right now, though. He's hanging out with us. But he gets here at 8 o'clock in the morning to set everything up. We've got cameras on the baskets. We've got mics on the baskets. We've got floor cameras on both ends. We've got 3 cameras up top. I mean, this, as Donald often says, dollar for dollar, this is the best broadcast in America. And we're down to the final 5 seconds, and Coronado wins it 73-35. And congratulations to Coach Jeff Kaufman. His first visit to Myrtle Beach is going to move him on to the quarterfinals. We're going to come back in just a couple of minutes with more of the Visit Myrtle Beach.com postgame show with Heather Macy and Alan Smothers. Don't you go anywhere. This is the 39th Annual Beach Ball Classic from Myrtle Beach on Stadium.
My family keeps me on the go. And as fellow community members, HTC believes friends and neighbors deserve services that keep the day running smoothly. No matter where life takes me, HTC keeps me connected by providing world-class technology to Horry and Georgetown counties. Because you are here, and so are we.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
There's an amazing place where family vacation memories are made and shared over and over again, where new experiences never disappoint, and where the only thing better than visiting is coming back again. Book your family vacation at visitmyrtlebeach.com and discover amazing values on area accommodations and family-friendly attractions. There's never been a better time to visit Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where family time has never been so much fun.
Back courtside at the Lambeau Arena, inside the Myrtle Beach Convention Center, Alan Smothers, Heather Macy for the final game of day one of action of the 39th Annual Beach Ball Classic. It is America's finest high school holiday basketball tournament, and we saw pretty much 4 blowouts today, maybe not as much in the game before this one. Izard County actually gave St. Francis out of Alpharetta, Georgia, a better game than I thought they would. Those young kids, they never gave up, and they were right there, but it was a pull away at the very end by St. Francis, 73-64. But here, 73-35. I was impressed with Socrates' never give up attitude. They were playing hard to the end, and I think Derek Hilton can be appreciative of the effort.
I think Coach has got his young guys playing hard. They're catching no breaks at all. But, you know, he's setting that zone. They gave up 31 threes, and I think that's okay. I think you have to decide what you're going to give up. You're going to give them inside, but you can't do both. You can't have them play horse, throw it inside and throw it back outside. So, you know, I thought that was a good game plan, and again, they competed to the end, and that's all you could ever want from a young basketball team.
That's true. And, of course, the starters for the team from Las Vegas, Nevada, did not play their normal minutes. You're going to see Jaden Hardy a lot more. You're going to see Tyrell Hunt have a bigger game than he had tonight. You're going to see Jackson Kohler get a lot more competition underneath. So if you're watching out in the great state of Nevada, know that this is not your normal Beach Ball Classic game. It'll start up on Saturday night when they have to take on a St. Francis team.
I can't wait to watch them take over that game. Can you imagine the one-on-one skills and the passing ability and watching them go score 25 a game? I mean, what we watched was a 10-point and a 12-point performance, and I think these guys are double-digit scorers, but also distributors. So they're going to rebound it and they're going to pass it well. This is just a really, really well-coached basketball game who I think has a shot to win the whole thing.
Well, I certainly think so, too. I think all the winners today have a legitimate shot to take home the 39th Annual Beach Ball Classic trophy. But as said on Saturday night, when they take on a St. Francis team, that is also a team that is experienced at going to national tournaments. They have been here at the Beach Ball Classic at least 5 times that I know of, and they have longtime head coach Drew Catlett on the bench. He's the son of longtime West Virginia head basketball coach Gail Catlett.
It's like watching chess when you watch these really two well-coached, really good basketball players, and they're running good stuff. You know, a lot of times you don't see all three go into play. You see really good teams because they've got really good players. What I've seen about both of these two teams with St. Francis is they're also coming in and going, I'm running really good stuff. I've got nationally ranked recruits, great coaching, and this is going to be just going at it like a prize fight.
Yeah, from this point forward, they'll see the best coaches in America matching wits here at the 39th Beach Ball Classic. This is my 30th broadcasting, and I think we have some of the best competition that we've had with 3 nationally ranked teams. We'll see 2 more tomorrow, Harvard, Westlake, and Long Island Lutheran, so you'll want to be around for 4 more broadcasts right here on Stadium tomorrow afternoon. For the entire Lucky Dog Television Productions crew, my partner and broadcast friend, not only basketball friend, Heather Macy and Banana Jack Murphy, I'm Alan Smothers saying your final score this evening, a 73-35 victory for Coronado out of Las Vegas, Nevada over the host team, Sockasty. From Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, so long, everybody.